Just drop that ass, bitch. It's open micers in the house. Pop that pussy with that open micers logo in your mouth. Jason with his bald ass head. Jacob looking in bed. It's open micers, bitch. Heard what I said. Drop that ass, open micers in the house. Drop that ass, pop that pussy, open micers in the house. Open micers in the house, open micers is a mouse. Drop that ass, pop that pussy, open micers in the house. The mic is now open.
That's right. The mic is now open. My name is Jason Robbins.
I'm Jacob Craig. I just got airdropped a Sonic milkshake. I feel like fucking shit. We're going to get into that. But listen, the horror month continues, okay? I'm very excited to get this guy on. We've considered...
We're doing the horror month.
Horror month. We got OnlyFans models on the show, boys. We got OnlyFans. No, we're doing a horror month, okay, for the month of October. I'm very excited to have this guy on because I'm just going to be honest. We've considered having him on for the last 3 horror months. I mean, and we finally got him on the fucking show. He's a absolutely hilarious, underrated comedian from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, now residing in Seattle, Washington. He is the former host of the Bloody Buddies podcast. It is the one and only Justin Baker. How you doing, brother?
Hey, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you, man. Coming in with the high energy.
I thought it was horror month, so I think we should go ahead and wrap this up because I was really misinformed and I didn't prepare for horror month.
Yeah.
I've been doing all this homework. I've been doing all this homework for horror month.
Yeah, dude, brushing up for horror month.
Let me say one thing. You said you said you had the worst theme song in podcast history. I think you mean the best theme song in podcast history. That was amazing. Yeah, and I used to have a podcast, and I paid for music that was worse than that. So
yeah, we obviously did not pay a single dime for that theme song. It was obviously free.
That's a bargain.
It's a bargain. Dude. It's a fucking real bargain. That's what you get when you're, high end podcasters like us. You get, that kind of quality. I do want to talk to you a little bit, about comedy shit. I haven't seen you in forever, dude. I haven't seen you since the District on the Alley in Gulfport, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Since then, you've moved away. You're in Seattle, Washington now. What you doing up there, man? How are things going? How's comedy going?
It's cool. I definitely am still in that. I just moved to a new city, got to work my ass off kind of space. It's great. I'm totally glad I did it, but I also totally get why some people never leave their hometown because boy, is it a lot of red tape, a lot of shit. This comedy's cool, but and I've always dug Seattle, and it's great being here. But yeah, adulthood's hard. I'm not built for it, really.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are.
Yeah, right. Unless you're participating in horror month, then you have it kind of made. I mean, you can fucking make thousands.
Honestly,
of dollars.
That's the route I'm thinking about taking.
So how is Seattle these days? It's been a few years since I've been up there, but I absolutely loved it last time I was up there.
It's really cool. It's you get a lot of the benefits of being in a big city, but without some of the really shitty stuff that you might have to deal with in like LA and New York.
Yeah.
So there's at least 3 clubs in Seattle. There's at least 2 in Tacoma. I'm still kind of like the new kid in school where I have to kind of do the shit that we all did when we first started doing comedy, where you're just showing up and asking the locals, what's the next move? Where are you guys going after this? Where's the next spot? So that kind of foreign exchange student thing is a little, annoying, but it's trial. So much of comedy is just like trial and error, where you have to just fuck up enough times until that's how I learn. I just have to fuck up and then I learn what not to do 100 times, and that's how I figure out how to do it.
Yeah, and Seattle, can you get up multiple times a night, or is everything kind of like spread out? Because it is a big city.
You can definitely get up multiple times a night. It just depends on like how hard you want to hustle and how like strategic you are in it. Once you get a rhythm for it, because they have a comedy club like a comedy/bar, it's a fucking who's on first routine trying to figure out these clubs because it's like there's comedy slash bar, there's like laughs comedy club, there's Seattle comedy bar. It's a lot. The names could be better. I'm gonna say that like because they all you're like, well, I'm at Capitol Hill. Which one? Because they're walking distance. So you can do that. Yeah, like on a Tuesday or something, you can definitely hit up one and then walk down the street and hit up the other. I have a car, which is like weird to Seattleites. They're like, they're like this. It's almost like it's shocking that they're like, well, you have your own car and everything. And I was like, yeah, we're from a place where everything is like 45 minutes away.
Right. Yeah, I guess that is. I wouldn't expect that from Seattle. I wouldn't think that everything would be in walking distance. I would expect it to be more spread out, having never been there, I guess.
It definitely helps to have a car, but now their public transportation is really good now, where they have a rail that goes pretty much like through every part of town.
And the cool
But I
thing
don't know
about
anything about public transportation at all.
the cool thing I liked about Seattle is how easy that city is to navigate because everything's just on a grid.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like I said, I'm still kind of learning. I also don't have like a good sense of direction.
I
But
don't
from what
either.
I've seen, it's like you just go enough times and I can kind of figure it out. For at first, parking was like my big thing. You guys know we're from a place where every subway has like a 75 car parking lot.
Yeah.
So it was wild to me to show up somewhere and then have to park like 15 minutes away or pay, which I'm not going to do. So, but once you get a rhythm for it, you can kind of like, no, because none of the locals are paying to park. So clearly, my mind told me they're finding a place. So that's just a Southern guy thing in a big city to think that you can just whip up into a place and park by the front door. Doesn't really happen.
Yeah.
Well, that's settled. I'm never going to Seattle, Washington. I gotta have front door access, brother. I'm fat as shit. I'm not walking 15 minutes to the fucking subway. I'll DoorDash it at that point. um, yeah. So are the other comics, sort of taking you under their wing at this point? Because like I'll go to a city like New Orleans or Mobile or whatever, and you talk to the guys there while you're there, like, hey, nah, you park over here, you go this way, come in through the back, you don't got to pay for anything.
For sure. Yeah, that's first couple people I met up here, they kind of educated me on that, like the do's and don'ts. And just the order of like, hey, which mic should I sign up for or whatever. They have some bucket mics up here. So obviously that's drawn at random. So
Yeah.
you don't really know what your spot is until the list is printed. So if somebody's walking down there, they can just take a picture of it, send it to you, and you know kind of where your spot is. Little things like that. But yeah, they've kind of wizened me up about when and where to go and stuff like that. A lot of it is honestly just getting to whatever. LA is like this too. Like if you're going to do a show in Burbank, you might as well just kind of get to Burbank by 4 and then just spend time there. I don't smoke or anything like that, so that's usually what they do. But it's kind of best to just go ahead and get to whatever part of town you're going to be in and like get situated instead of trying to like it's not like back home where you can just like get off work and drive 30 minutes and you're at the show. Especially because like rush hour here is pretty deadly.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, man. I'm happy that you're up there in a big city making a run at it. You definitely have the talent to succeed. Yeah, very very happy to hear that you're doing shit up there, man. But yeah, we're here for horror month. We're here. It can be horror month. I mean, if we want to turn it into that, I'm not
They go
opposed to
well
it.
together.
They do go well together. I mean, horrors is a whole genre of its own. Okay, but we are
That's
here
gonna be
for.
my next podcast is horror horrors.
Yeah, definitely do that. You would make so much money. Just get like a hot goth co-host. I
Read
know
my
some.
mind.
Yeah, dude, I know somebody. I'll hook y'all up. Yeah, we're here for horror month. Justin, what was your first like exposure to the genre of horror where you were like, this might be something that I'm gonna like be into for the rest of my life?
Probably like sneaking like VHS tapes from my brother's room as a kid. My brother, I'm the youngest of three brothers, and my older brother, there's an 8-year difference between us. So he was already heavy into his teens, like when I was really young. So we had a video store by our house, and he would get and I think it used to be the porno room, and then maybe they quit selling porno because I remember beads.
Yeah.
To get to the horror section, you had to walk through beads, which felt very lascivious. Felt definitely like that was probably the porn room before it was the horror room. But I used to just stand there and just like turn and just look at all the covers of the VHS tapes there. And then my brother would rent stuff. I would rent something like Pokemon or something, but then it was just a ruse, so I could go with him and then watch what he watched. Early ones were like just like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and stuff like that. It was like the early mind-blowing thing. But I think it was, from being from the Bible Belt, I think that was the you shouldn't be watching this, I think, was most of the appeal. That kind of because I had to sneak everything. I wasn't allowed to watch any of that stuff. I think if I was probably allowed, I would have been into. I might be talking romantic comedies with you right now if I was allowed to watch horror movies as a child.
We can talk about romantic comedies. Listen, I'm not married to this idea of horror month.
Yeah.
It can be romantic comedy month.
You guys see Anyone But You?
Good stuff. No, I haven't seen that one. I can't fucking stand either of them. Glenn Powell or the chick.
A wild statement. Those are probably the two most fuckable people on the planet.
I know, but just like I can't stand them. like I've never like there are very few like hot people where you're like, yeah, like this person's hot, likable, intelligent, whatever. I just don't find either of them likable at all.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you're one of the few people.
I can't co-sign.
Yeah, you're one of the few people, Justin, that's hot, likable, intelligent. You've got it all. You should be the Glenn Powell. It should. I
appreciate you making that joke because I wanted to, but I decided not to.
Yeah, it wouldn't work coming out of your mouth. It's like, God, I hope one of these guys realizes how fucking hot I am right now.
Exactly.
Having a brother that old, because I have one older brother who is 8 years older than me. I'm surprised that he didn't like just let you watch the movies because he thought it would be funny to traumatize you like my brother did with me.
Yeah. I don't know if I would have preferred that or not. He really just didn't care one way or the other, I don't think. He would just he did cool like guy shit. Like he would watch the movie and then he'd go and have sex with a girl. And that wasn't going to happen for me for many years, almost a decade. So, but I was like, but I got this movie. So I remember like early, I think Bride of Chucky was one of the first ones I stole from his room. And I remember just being mind blown, and it was so sexual too that was a thing too. Of either way, your parents might walk in and somebody might be getting decapitated, or your parents might walk in and somebody's like, having sex. Either way, the risk was what I think thrilled me about it.
And which one would you have rather it been?
I would probably rather them walk in during the violence because you know how Christians are. Like,
yeah.
You can watch somebody get shot in the head, but tits are like a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we're all kind of in the same, our origins are kind of the same. We all had older brothers that kind of led us into the horror genre. Like my brother, was 5 years older than me when I was a kid, and that's how I saw a lot of the horror movies that I saw. It was because he would rent stuff or he would get things from his friends and stuff like that. I remember seeing Nightmare on Elm Street when I wasn't supposed to be watching it and was probably way too young to be watching it, that movie. And, it kind of messed me up, but I think I'm all right. I think I turned out all right.
That one got me too. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep laying on my back for years. Because I saw the scene where Johnny Depp gets pulled into the bed, and I don't know why I thought I could get away if I was on my side, but I couldn't sleep on my back as a child. The image of him getting sucked in bothered me so much. Yeah, so I kind of slept on the side of the bed thinking I could easily roll out if something happened.
Yeah, I guess it's just like longer for Freddy to like try to get his arms around you. He's like, God damn it.
Yeah, if he could get me in a German, if he could get you in a German suplex like that, you're
Yeah.
done for. But if you can scroll out of it, it made sense to me.
Right. Yeah. Shrimp, get your hips. Yeah. I mean, Freddy doesn't know jujitsu. That's just not a thing. It wasn't around
No,
when he was banging. All right. He doesn't know any dream jujitsu. You can fucking wiggle away from him if you have to. Get him in a triangle, maybe, you know? But yeah, if you're on your back, you're done for.
Yeah, I
he's
think
like
with
5'2".
and he's got that burned skin. It seems kind of slippery, so you might be able to slip away from him. You know.
Yeah, true.
He's low key kind of a bitch too. Like he's only like 5'4".
Yeah, you could probably kick Freddy's ass. Did anyone try? Did anyone try to just fucking kick his
Well,
ass?
Nancy did kick his ass
Jason,
pretty good in that first movie.
Yeah, Jason kicked his fucking
Yeah.
ass. What was
if
the
it's not for the
movie?
dream world, he gets fucked up. As soon as he comes into the real world, it's done for. He's been beaten by children, literal children,
Yeah.
multiple times.
Yeah, dude. Freddy Krueger's like the OG, like internet keyboard warrior.
That's true.
You enter his realm and you'll get eviscerated, but
Yeah.
come into mine and I'll kick your fucking ass.
If he was, yeah, if they should do a remake where he's just like an incel, like he's just a Reddit guy.
It's coming, dude. It's coming. It's gonna happen. What was the movie where Busta Rhymes tried to like fist fight somebody? Like,
That's
was
Halloween
it Jason?
Resurrection.
Yeah, Halloween.
Yeah, it was
Resurrection.
Michael Myers. Busta Rhymes just tried to fucking fist fight Michael Myers. Like, Michael Myers ain't no bitch, though.
That was an era of movies I wish would come back where you would have a rapper in a horror movie,
Yeah.
and then sometimes they would have a song in the credits. And I think cinema won't succeed until that comes back.
Yeah,
Nothing
that-
will beat LL Cool J. My hat is like a shark fin. From,
Yeah,
what was
100%,
that,
Deep
what was
Blue
that
Sea.
movie he was in? What was the name of that?
Deep Blue Sea.
Deep Blue Sea, yeah.
Justin just said it. Maybe if you were listening, Jason. Fucking.
My
top tier
brain was
podcast.
trying to think of the movie when he said it. I didn't hear it. Sorry. My
Think
bad.
of all the
sir.
great Will Smith credit songs.
Right.
We should.
Wild
I
Wild
mean, we should
West.
go back to that. I don't know what rapper could successfully do it. I know Kid Cudi's doing horror right now, but I don't.
Yeah, but
A lot
his
of rappers
music
don't
is
look
trash.
like they can fight anymore. Well, there's that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, probably because rappers don't fight anymore. We talked about this on the podcast like lately. Like rappers don't fight; they just kill people and go to jail, and they don't, and they barely do that. Like maybe like NLE Choppa can fucking I don't know throw hands with Jason
I've been-
Voorhees in a remake.
I've been calling him Nile Choppa this whole time.
Like Frasier's brother. That's fucking Niles
Oh.
Choppa, dude.
Thinking like the River Nile, but yeah.
For God's sakes, Niles.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I don't think that there's a rapper strong enough to really
I don't know.
carry that.
You could throw Young Gravy into a horror movie. Maybe he could throw some hands.
You mean his last
was-
album? That was a horror movie.
You know, he was just in Seattle. He was just here.
Really?
I don't know his music, but somebody I know went to the show.
Hmm.
I think that's the problem is these new rappers aren't cool enough to be in horror.
Yeah.
They got to go back. Brandy was just in that movie. That front room, that A24. Brandy was just in that. But I don't think nobody's going to believe that Lil Uzi Vert can go toe to toe with like Jason.
No, definitely not, dude. Lil Durk's gonna get his ass kicked by the fucking leprechaun.
Yeah. When they do Back to the Hood 3, or yeah, Leprechaun in the Hood 3, that's what's coming.
I don't know. I think Megan Thee Stallion could beat somebody up in a horror movie.
That's true. She's like 6'4".
Yeah,
That's
she's
a
like
big
my
lady.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, that's horror month, dude. Now we're doing horror month. You brought up
Yeah,
Megan Thee
it's come full
Stallion.
circle.
Yeah, we're just talking in circles here, dude. Yeah, I think that, and maybe I'm just pessimistic, but I think that that's like a snapshot of like an era that we're never gonna get back, right? Where you have like the best I'm gonna say the best crappy horror movies getting made, like the 10th Halloween sequel or whatever. And then you also have like the rappers in the movie and the soundtrack. Like, I just don't think that our culture does that anymore. Like, things have changed so much and shifted so much that like even the shitty horror movie, there's only like a certain amount of people that is into that anymore.
I do believe that there was a time when even the shitty stuff was good, and I don't
Yeah.
think that's really the case anymore.
Yeah.
I think there was a time when even the shittiest movie, it still went through a lot of steps to get made as a movie. So a lot of things have to go right for that to happen. Whereas now, if you thought like what was on the shelf at Blockbuster, you could find some shitty movies. Tubi has lowered the bar so much so that you're not even really watching a cohesive movie. You're just watching like an iPhone video type of thing.
Yeah, well, I mean that's the thing. We've been in kind of a a horror renaissance the last few years because there's been some really good horror movies that have come out the last few years, but they're just not, not cultural touchstones like they used to be. Like, Scream was just a global phenomenon when that came out back in the 90s, and then you had, even the crappy stuff still got released in theaters and people still saw it and talked about it, but now it's like you see a really cool horror movie and it's like nobody else has seen it. You got to like beg other people to watch it.
That's a big problem I have and I get that like nobody has the money for this kind of stuff, but it's like it's October and I can't believe that I'm only going to the movies like twice this month.
Yeah.
To see like Terrifier and Smile. In October, I want to be in the theater every weekend.
Yeah.
Like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's how it used to be. It used to just like there were so many movies in theaters, you were just missing out. You couldn't see everything. And now we theaters and we like it's not even worth it to get like a Stubbs membership because there's only 10 movies in the theaters at any given time. And it's crazy. And so much stuff's going straight to streaming, which the ease of access is one thing, but like you said, these movies are coming out and they're just falling by the wayside. I'm gonna be in the movies a lot this month, but it's because I'm going to theaters like indie theaters that are showing old movies. And that's crazy to me that I'm only gonna have to go to like my local AMC just twice, but I'm gonna be at the Grand Illusion seeing like a million old movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and there's only 10 movies out and one of them's Joker Folie Due, so there might as well only be 9 movies out. Like,
I haven't seen this. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard, and my suspicions were correct, according to everybody, that it's just a giant pile of dog shit. Like, I've heard it's like the worst movie that you could possibly see.
I don't know, but again, I have seen some shitty movies. It takes a lot like I said, it would have to be like not even cohesively a movie for me to be like, God, that sucked.
True. Yeah.
If you want to watch a Joker movie, you should watch The People's Joker. That's what. If you got to watch a Joker movie in 2024, it should be that one. I'm just going to throw that out there.
What is?
Have you heard this? Have
Joker?
Either of you heard about The People's Joker?
No.
Okay, it's an indie movie. The director Vera Drew made, and it's totally. They didn't ask DC for nothing. It's completely a parody. It's their life story, but like through a weird kaleidoscope of like DC Comics. But it's crazy inventive and crazy cool, and they made it on like a budget of like $90,000.
I'll look it up.
It's one of my favorites of the year. It was that. Hundreds of Beavers is also amazing.
I want to see that.
Little indie.
I've heard a lot about that movie.
Guys, I said stop talking about horror month.
Dude, when we're done here,
exactly.
when we're done here, Jacob, and everybody listening to this, when you're done here, go to YouTube and look up the trailer for what's the name of it again?
Hundreds of Beavers. It's on Tubi right now too for free if you want to watch it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Someone
watch
explain to me what the fuck Hundreds of Beavers is.
Okay, so it's like they were influenced by like old like Buster Keaton and like a real turn of the century kind of comedy like Charlie Chaplin stuff and like Looney Tunes, and it's the amount of gags that they fit in the movie, like real laugh out loud gags. It's also a silent movie, I mean, there's like uhs and ahs and like there's like sound effects and like onomatopoeia stuff, but it's essentially like a silent movie made today. They made it with like hardly any money. But the amount of like gags that are timeless, that and like that happened, like Looney Tune stuff and all that, like there's so many like timeless gags, and you just when you thought, like, I thought the well was empty on that, and this guy just made, in this year, just made a silent comedy
Well,
that is legitimately laugh out loud funny. It's one of my
apparently,
favorites.
it started out the guy that directed it. I guess the guy that directed it and wrote it, whatever. They were in a bar like in Michigan or something, and they were talking about this movie they want to make, and they just decided to make it. And then it took them like 2 years to make this movie, and it's finally out now. And I watched the trailer for it, and I was like, this is the strangest looking thing I've ever seen in my life. I have to see this.
It's crazy as shit. Words can't really describe it. I could call it like a Tex Avery, like a live action Looney Tunes movie, but it has to kind of be seen to be believed. And what they did with how little they had to work with, it's already. I mean, I'm big. I'm your typical like letterboxed, fucking basic bitch, but it's in my top 20, as well as, if you want to circle back to horror, The Substance. I don't know if you guys have seen.
I haven't seen that yet.
The Substance is fucking amazing.
What is that about?
I shouldn't have to tell you this. This is your podcast, but the Substance, it's got Demi Moore and
Okay.
Margaret Qualley. You remember her? She was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, I remember her. Yeah.
She was one of the Manson girls, right?
Hell yeah.
It's like Demi Moore is kind of like an '80s actress, celebrity who did fitness videos, and is at a point where she's kind of being pushed out. She's like most women when they get into their 40s and 50s in Hollywood. Hollywood doesn't really have a space for women that age, and she gets into this black market drug called The Substance, and it's branded to be like a newer, better you. The whole thing's like I hate to call it like Cronenbergian, because that implies that like it's not derivative or anything like that. But you could call it like Cronenbergian, like that body horror type of stuff.
Yeah.
But essentially, the drug makes like a younger, like a clone of you. It splits you, but you have to live two lives. And where the horror happens is her trying to manage these two lives.
I'm for it. I'm gonna watch.
It's the craziest shit ever, because it goes full trauma by the end. And what you thought was, it starts off, and I'm like, in the age of A24, we're all going for like subtlety and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it's going to end in a pretty tame way. It just goes full bananas.
Well, speaking
It's
of
great.
trauma,
It's probably the best. It's probably the best horror movie of the year, I would say confidently.
speaking of trauma, there's supposed to be a remake of the Toxic Avenger coming out soon.
Yeah, with Peter Dinklage. I hope they're doing this bullshit these studios are doing now, where they're kind of like hanging on to movies and don't want to release them, like they did with Batgirl.
Yeah. Toxic Avenger has been finished for at least a year now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they've just been hanging on to it, and someone just leaked a bunch of pictures from the film, because you know how this, like what Ryan Reynolds did with Deadpool, where he himself just like leaked some test footage and got the movie made. Someone leaked some fucking pictures online of the movie, probably in hopes that the studio will actually release it. Yeah, dude, it looks fucking good from the stills that they released. Like, I really hope that they let it out.
It was killing it on the festivals. Like, all the buzz coming out of all the festivals, like Beyond Fest and all of that. I don't remember which all. I think it did Fantastic Fest, but the buzz out of the festivals was all great. And it's got Kevin Bacon and Peter Dinklage. It's just a layup. It's just a layup win.
Yeah,
They're just
Elijah Wood as well, I think.
Yes, yeah. So it's a given that, but I don't. It's the industry is just so fucked up where. They're like, we need a guaranteed $1 billion, or you're going to have to really sell this on us.
Right. Yeah, and that's crazy. And they think that they're going to get that by remaking The Crow so much worse than the 1994's Crow. Like, that's not going to get you $1 billion. Just give people something they're actually asking for. No one wanted a Crow remake. The first one's already fucking amazing.
I didn't even see that Crow movie, and it's not. And the Crow had like a bunch of shitty sequels already.
Yeah.
So they already kind of pissed all over the Crow,
I mean,
which already like I'm gonna piss some people off with this. Already not super great. Like the original Crow is kind of just like of its time.
Yeah.
Already, like it's. I enjoyed it a lot, but it's not like we're not talking the fucking Godfather when we're talking the Crow. Like it was cheesy when it came out. Like we laughed at it when it came out, at how like sappy and over the emo and sentimental it was.
Right.
But it added 30 years to Sting's career, so I gotta say that's probably the best thing the Crow did was give us Crow Sting, I think.
Yeah. Dude, Sting, you know that Sting's mad about Diddy getting arrested. I think we've talked about this already. I don't know if you know this, Justin, but P. Diddy had to pay Sting $2,000 every day for the rest of his life because he didn't clear his usage of like a sample of one of his songs.
But see, you're
talking about Sting from the Police.
Yeah, you're thinking of a
Sting
different
are you talking
Sting.
about?
Sting the wrestler.
I'm talking about the wrestler.
Oh, okay.
It's easy to get them mixed up. That's hilarious.
Are they the same person?
I've never seen them both at the same place at the same time.
Did we change places, Jacob? Because usually I'm the one fucking shit like that up.
I thought you were a wrestling.
I know. I thought you were a wrestling fan.
Maybe it's a bit. Maybe I'm just being funny on a comedy podcast. God fucking forbid I try to do a joke. Have we seen Sting and Stardust in the same fucking place? Are they the same person?
I've never seen Cody Rhodes and Stardust in the same place at the same time.
God damn it, I did actually get those two mixed up. That one was real.
At this point. You could have lied and said it was all a bit, and I would have been like, shit, I'm not that good at comedy.
Fuck me neither. You've seen the bits I've tried to do on the podcast so far. Yeah, I think that we're in a place now, and it sounds like you might agree, Justin, with the suggestions you've brought up so far, where, especially horror, but I think filmmaking in general, like there's so much being done in independent film that, big studios like Disney and Warner Brothers and whoever is just like killing creatively. Like they're killing genres and killing franchises creatively so much that I think independent filmmakers are just doing so much more than could ever be done at a studio right now.
Yeah, it seems to be, because like all the best movies that come out this year. Now, I'm not like a Disney bash or anything like that. Like when you go see a Disney movie, a Marvel movie, at the very least, you and the whole family are gonna have a good time and enjoy it. They're very good at that. But as far as something that's like gonna stick with you past when the credits roll, right now, it's a lot of. There's nothing wrong with like a burger and fries, but that's kind of what they're feeding us. I love Deadpool and Wolverine, but it was kind of just to me it was like, yeah, but of course I would love that. Of course I love that. That's like eating chicken nuggets and French fries for dinner. Of course I'm gonna love that.
But see that kind of goes to your point. Like they're putting out movies like the Joker, Folie à Deux, or whatever it's called, stuff that nobody really wants. But then you got movies that do stick with you after you leave the theater, and that didn't even come out in a theater. Like, did Barbarian even come out in a theater? Like, I saw that.
Yeah,
that's one of the best horror movies I've seen in the last decade, and I can't believe that movie didn't do $1 billion at the box office.
Yeah, Barbarian was just straight to streaming. It didn't even have a physical release. I think there's either one coming or there's one that just came out. But that's the scary thing. Is the same thing happened with Prey. When I saw Prey, you remember that went straight to Hulu. I was like, this movie's fucking amazing. I would have loved to see this in a packed theater.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the best Predator movies since the first one. and it went straight to Hulu. And then even like the new Axel Foley movie, the new Beverly Hills Cop movie on
that would
Netflix
have
was
crushed in theaters.
dude, it would have crushed at the theater because it was so good, but it's just on Netflix and everybody thinks because it was just on Netflix it's not going to be any good, but it's a great movie.
It's crazy to think that Eddie Murphy's not like bankable to the studio, where they're like, yeah, I mean, but that's Guillermo del Toro is going through that, where they're talking that he just shot his remake of Frankenstein, and they're going to try to put it straight on Netflix. And I was like a couple years ago, this dude just won the Oscar. Like, he won Best Picture and Best Director just a couple years ago, and Hollywood's just like, nah, it's too big of a risk for us. Like, it's mind blowing. But I think that's why I've just been going back and just like seeing a bunch of old stuff because I'm just frustrated with
that big of a risk to put movies in the theater now, because it's not like they have to make prints. All movie theaters are digital now, so they just have to download the file and play it on the screen. It's not like they have to print, like reels of movies anymore. Why is it such a huge financial risk to put movies in the theater?
Yeah, because because when you put it in theaters, you have to spend so much in marketing to try to ensure that you make your money back, instead of getting that check cut from whatever streaming service. Like, because Deadpool and Wolverine, I guarantee they at least spent $20 million on marketing.
Oh, more than that.
More than that. They had Jack in the Box had like a whole Deadpool and Wolverine menu. But if you made $10 million movies instead of one $100 million movie, you could get them into theaters, and you wouldn't, like I said, needing to make like hundreds of millions of dollars just to break even is a wild thing to me.
Yeah. And I will say that an upside of it, just as a casual viewer of kind of whatever, is you can go on a streaming service and just randomly find a hidden gem. Like, if you look hard enough and be like, why has no one talked about this fucking movie? Like if you have Paramount Plus, I know this isn't horror related, but like, there's a whole bunch of movies that Taylor Sheridan directed on Paramount Plus, the Yellowstone guy, that are like the best written movies I've maybe ever seen in my entire life. Like, just solid plot, solid like everything. And they're just randomly like thrown together and put on Paramount Plus. And it's starring like Angelina Jolie and shit, and like Jeff Bridges and John Bernthal. And it's just on Paramount Plus, hidden behind like everything else. Like, there's just genuine like hidden gems on any streaming service, because there's so many movies still being made and none of them going to theaters, so they're all just packed into hiding.
Yeah, that's the shitty part. And AI is trash for recommending you movies. Like, Netflix's algorithm is like, you watched Iron Man 1, so you would enjoy Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm lucky enough being here in Seattle to have Scarecrow Video, the biggest, best video store in the world. And what's crazy, a lot of locals don't even know it exists. But it's I think it is officially the biggest collection of film and television maybe on the planet. I know they have stuff that like even the National Film Registry doesn't have, but it's right there. I mean, you have to look harder for the good stuff these days. But if you make the effort, it's really rewarding. There's a video store in Portland, and there's that one Blockbuster left in Bend, Oregon. I wish something like that existed back home, but the shitty thing is just people don't really support stuff like that anymore. There's a lot of indie theaters here doing really cool stuff. There's drive-ins that are doing really cool stuff, and I get it. People don't have a lot of money right now, but people just don't really support that stuff anymore. It's just so easy to just pay like $9 a month and have Netflix,
Yeah, and the thing about horror is it's such a communal experience too. When you go see a good horror movie in the theater, and you just, it's just that adds something to it that just gets lost when you're just watching stuff at home by yourself. Like, I wish I could have seen Late Night with the Devil in the theater with other people, you know?
Yeah, that movie's great. I saw that at Overlook Fest in New Orleans, and is great. Is I mean, that's stuff like that, like big crowd pleasers. You know, they were gonna try to put Alien Romulus straight to streaming.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I watched it in IMAX and I was like, this movie's fucking huge. Like this the scale of this feels incredibly big. And they were just gonna put it on TV where you could just watch it and then pause and go jerk off and then come back and watch 20 more minutes, then pause it and go, eat something and come back. And Quentin Tarantino said something really smart where he talked about how when you watch something like that on your television, it's a disposable experience.
Yeah.
It was just what you did when you got off work. If you just make like the tiniest bit of effort to go and see something, you get so much more out of it.
Yeah.
It's often a shitty experience. I'm not gonna say it's not like I try to go at times when it's like unreasonable for children to be there because boy, there's a theater near me, but it's like right by a mall, so you get all these like 17-year-olds coming in, like the broccoli, like the broccoli head
Yeah.
look that they're going for now. So the broccoli headed boys come in and they all have their vapes and they keep leaving and coming. They keep coming and leaving like 20 times during the movie. I think because they're trying to get they're trying to get a blowjob in the bathroom from the poor woman that they have tricked into being with them. And they're just hitting their vapes constantly. They're coming and leaving, and
No, they just
and
have
I'm always thinking that there's going to be like
they have the shortest attention spans on the planet.
there's that too. There's that too with TikTok and stuff, where these days nobody can sit and watch anything that's like longer than 12 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, like I think in the future movie theaters have the movie, and then down here there's going to be like Temple Run or something that you can play. You can play Candy Crush while you're watching it, and that's going to be the future.
That's definitely gonna be it, dude. Yeah, you guys. I don't know if you're big TikTok watchers. I'm really not. But now on TikTok, the big thing is you can watch whole movies on TikToks. There's like these just clip after clip of like these Netflix movies that you can go watch on Netflix that people just post like minute by minute on TikTok, and you can just watch the whole fucking movie.
That's insane.
You might as well
I've seen
just
stuff like
watch the
that.
movie.
Some of them do it kind of cool, where they create like a scene. Like I've seen like somebody will have like a shitty like VHS copy of the movie on like an old tube TV, and they'll do candles and stuff like that, and that's kind of cool. It just it's a space to come and just chill. I think stuff like that's cool, but also it makes me kind of weep for people that you're gonna watch like Dune 2 on a screen that's like 3 inches.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Justin, we're coming up on the end of the podcast here, man. Before we get you
That's
out of
crazy.
here.
I feel like we didn't talk about horror movies at all, almost.
Yeah, I think we barely talked. I think we've just been staring at each other. But before we
Real
get you out of
quick,
here,
we should name. Hold on, before we leave, because I will feel bad if we don't talk enough horror.
okay.
What are you guys like? What are some of your favorites to watch around like October time?
Actually,
See, and this was what I was going to ask you, Justin. I was going to ask like what your go-to recommendations for everything was.
Like specifically like Halloween time, like October.
Yeah, like
Because you know there's
like
a
what's your
difference.
go-to horror movie?
You know what really bothers me is when people are watching like Friday the 13th in October, because that's a summer camp movie, and I don't know, that gets under my skin. Some people probably like, what a fucking dork. I guarantee that this is everybody, because all my friends are going to text me when this airs and be like, you are the biggest fucking nerd.
It's okay. None of them are going to
One
see
of the
this.
big ones for October, I mean, Ernest Scared Stupid is a staple
Yeah.
in my house for October. I don't know if you guys, I have this weird thing, like I haven't met a lot of people that have seen the Ernest movies, and I was like raised on the filmography of Ernest.
yeah.
It's like a weird thing that a lot of people didn't. I guess unless you were like poor white trash, I don't think everybody experienced Ernest the way I did.
I think Jacob's
It
a
was
little
bigger.
too young to have experienced.
You're too young to
Ernest
experience
movies.
Ernest. Do you know who Ernest P. Worrell is?
I know who he is, but I've never seen like The Perks of Being Ernest or anything like that.
The Perks of Being Ernest. Yeah,
Yeah, I've never
that came
seen it.
after Citizen Ernest, but
Yeah,
before
dude.
before From Ernest with the Wind.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Uh,
Uh,
there's this great movie called The Midnight Hour, which was like a TV movie from 1985, I think, and it's got zombies and a werewolf and vampires and ghosts, and it's got everything. And it was just a TV movie. It was like the ABC movie of the week. You can find it on YouTube. That one's amazing. That's a great October movie. But around this time, I just like to watch schlocky, kind of cheesy stuff. To me, that's what Halloween is about. Is like trashy
Yeah.
horror.
for sure. Yeah, we got to keep it somewhat family friendly in my household because I got the kiddo running around. But yeah, I mean, I watch stuff like I like Casper, Hocus Pocus, Nightmare Before Christmas, that kind of stuff. Or if we're talking just like not necessarily spooky, but more into horror. Um, I really like and don't get it twisted here, fellas. I really like Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. That's a fucking fantastic film. Also, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter is fucking elite, dude. Like,
I like that. I like that one. That one was good.
yeah, those are two of my like cheesy favorites. I think I might have them both on DVD, and yeah, just the classics like the first Halloween, Scream, regular slashers like that, maybe Final Destination. Pretty basic when it
If
comes
you
to
have a kid,
that kind of
there's
stuff.
definitely there's definitely gateway horror. If you have a kid, you could show them. I don't know how old is the kid.
4, so maybe
Oh
not a
well,
lot.
they don't. I don't know if they know what a movie is. I was thinking like 10. I was thinking like 10ish. Okay, well, in a couple years, you could show them like
Brother, if I had a 10-year
something
old,
like.
I had that kid at 14 years old.
Uh,
It is Mississippi,
I
so
mean,
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
true.
true.
That's true.
I do know a guy who literally had a kid at 14 years old.
Jesus.
Like he was a comedian
God,
from Alabama. I
you
literally
could
know that
not.
guy.
You could not wrestle the revolver out of my mouth if that happened to me. Let me tell you.
Jesus Christ.
Good God.
It's so true.
I'm really passionate about not having kids. I'm as passionate as people with kids. As passionate as Josh Watts is about being a father, and he's one of the great best fathers I've ever met. I'm that passionate about not being a father.
Yeah.
Where I
I'm
wake up, I like take pictures of just me at the movies, and I'm like, day out. I'll rub it in your face that I don't have kids.
just and you don't even post it, you just send it all to Josh Watts. Like, look what I'm doing in peace. You
It's just
fucking
it's just
piece
me
of
in the
shit.
car with like an empty seat with like a bunch of drugs and movies in it. And I'm like, day out. I'll put all my stuff in a car seat just to really show them.
Yeah, dude. It's not even buckled in, right? He's losing his fucking mind.
They call it dink when I don't know if y'all know this term. If you're a dink couple, DINK, double income, no kids. That's called a dink couple.
Ooh, that would be fucking nice, dude.
I'm hoping to stay in dinks my whole life, hopefully.
Yeah,
A couple scares, but
I'm just den. I'm just a
Den.
den couple.
double
Uh,
kids, like double kids, no income or something like
yeah,
that.
double kids, no income. Jason, we didn't get any suggestions from you, buddy. What are you firing
Um,
off with?
Well, I still got my list up here from the Nerd Cave Retro Show we did the other night. We did top 5 horror movies for Halloween.
Well, don't plug. You don't got to plug. You don't
I'm
have to do
plugging.
plugs.
I'm plugging it.
Let
There's
them plug.
Let me plug. But yeah, let's see. I always watch Ghostbusters, The Thing, They Live is the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, In the Mouth of Madness, Night of the Living Dead, the original Halloween, Evil Dead 2, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and my favorite to watch every Halloween, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. It's the best movie ever made.
Perfect. Season of the Witch is great. I have a VHS of Season of the Witch currently en route to my house right now. I just bought it.
That's the man after my own heart. My VHS copy of it is actually signed by Tom Atkins himself.
Oh, the sexiest man alive, Tom Atkins.
Yeah.
That's great. He is. Tell you what, and that specifically. I mean, Tom Atkins was. They don't make that kind of man anymore.
No.
Specifically as like you remember, not only in so he's. I mean, he's fucking smashing in Halloween 3, but also in The Fog. He gets with Jamie Lee Curtis within like what 10 minutes of
Yeah.
meeting her. This guy was a sex. He's a sex machine back in the day.
Yeah,
But no, I love Halloween.
He was in
Halloween
Night
3.
of the Creeps too.
Yep. Yeah. That's a great Tom Atkins triple feature.
Yeah, that's what you should do out there. If you're listening to this, do the Tom Atkins triple feature this weekend. Do Halloween 3, The Fog, and Night of the Creeps, and that's your Tom
And
Atkins.
try
weekend.
not to come. I bet you can't.
You won't get through the first movie. You're just gonna be splooging all over the place.
You will not make it. Oh yeah, you're gonna be dehydrated. Make sure to drink plenty of water.
The testosterone will be leaking out of your television with those 3 movies.
Yeah, and just so everyone knows that Open Micers does not openly endorse anyone watching Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. That's not an official stance.
Do I need to pull this
I'll take
out?
that stance. You
What
have
the
it?
fuck
I
are
want
you
to
getting,
Let's see.
dude?
I got the official
Nice.
figures here.
Oh, cool. There's like the NECA figures.
Yeah,
Nice.
these are awesome.
Jason's
Silver
playing with his
Shamrock
toys again.
novelties.
That's phenomenal. That's great. You really need to give it a chance. Just pretend it's just called Season of the Witch.
Yeah.
I've seen it, dude. It sucks ass.
Jacob,
It's fucking horrible.
you have the worst taste in movies I've ever seen.
It might even be like the third or fourth best Halloween movie.
Okay, but that bar is so low. You set the lowest bar for this movie you could have possibly set. The other ones are also so bad.
The best Halloween movie, and I don't mean the Halloween franchise, I mean the best movie for Halloween is Trick or Treat. I think that's
Yeah.
heads and tails above. I think it's probably Trick or Treat and then the 1978, the original Halloween.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And then I would say like Midnight Hour. I love that one.
Yeah.
That's a little hidden gem you guys should really seek out. But then Halloween 3 Season of the Witch is probably number 4.
I don't think it is. Number 45.
And I want to tell, don't sleep on the 1989 remake of Night of the Living Dead 2 that they did in the 80s.
It's really
that one's
good.
really good.
Yeah. Tony Todd.
Yeah, you should watch it, Jacob. It's good. It's got Tony Todd in it. It's got the Candyman in it.
I'll watch it. I didn't like Candyman. I'm just going to be quite honest.
Wow.
I didn't think Candyman was a great feature.
They did one in New Orleans. I think Candyman 3, Candyman 2.
Two Candy, Two Man.
Yeah. Tokyo Drift.
Well, let's start wrapping this thing up, gentlemen. We're coming up on the hour.
Yeah, let's
Right
do
on.
it. Justin, do you got anything that you want the people out there to know?
Not really. Just, like I said, no, I don't have anything going on right now. Just support your local comedy scene because there's so many funny people. And on the way to Seattle, I stopped in a lot of comedy scenes. Let me tell you, everywhere you go, there's like 10 great comics, and you can't believe they're not huge. And that's every state in the country. So support your local comedians like these guys.
Hell
And
yeah.
if you guys are ever in Seattle, we'll hang out and I'll show you. We can hit up some of the clubs around here.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
That sounds great. Justin, thank you so much for coming on the show, man.
For sure. Thanks for having me. This was fun. I could talk horror and Halloween for hours, but we all probably have lives to get back to. So
Yeah.
until next
Jason.
time, we'll come back. We'll do horror month next month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Jacob, what do we got going on?
Yeah, so you guys need to go over to the Patreon and sign up for as little as $1 a month. The video that me and Jason are dropping this month is going to be a trick or treat special, where the tricks are going to be things such as I don't know, something really spicy or something like that, and the treats are going to be not that great as well. We're going to get stuff like black licorice or whatever. Still working on the concept for that video, but it's going to be a lot of fun, sort of like the challenge videos that we usually do. As far as stand-up dates go, November 23rd, we will be at Cedar Street Social in Mobile. I just saw Carson Taylor last night. That's going to be a fucking killer show. And December 8th at Uncle Matt's in New Orleans. So Mobile and New Orleans peeps, you guys come see us do stand up, man. It's going to be a fun time.
Fantastic. Well, that's going to bring us to the end of this episode. And if you want to email us at openmicerspodcast@gmail.com. Openmicers.com is our website. And of course, Linktr.com/openmicerspodcast takes you everywhere you need to go. All the socials, all the ways to give us money, all that good stuff. And don't forget, BRezCoffeeCode.com and use the code OMPodcast to check out for 10% off your order. We love all of you, and we'll see you next week.
I owe Sting the Wrestler $2,000 for the rest of my life.
And thank you all for watching on YouTube. We'll see you all next week.